Alright, so we have got a set of flat objects. Now, you're gonna, like I said before, you're gonna be drawing flat objects. We're gonna say no to some things. Like here we have the key too thick. The ruler's okay. That's about as thick as you're gonna get. Ideally you want the thickest to be the DVD. This card is perfect. That's exactly the type of thickness between that card and a DVD, but you want to try different ones too. So here's some ideals. The razor, well, it's a blade, not a razor, but you would want to, something like that, you'd want to turn it so you're not, or you'd have to ignore the shape besides this flat side for right now. Catch the round part. Oh, you're not even on it. Catch the round part. You definitely want to catch the straight parts. Catch the round part too. But let's, for now, just kind of keep away from the blade of itself. This is a little difficult to see with the light I have. I would have thought this thing was brighter. Oh, there you go. You can see, kind of. It is actually damn bright, and the camera is not picking it up. Okay. You can see the thickness in the lip. Yeah, you can see the lip of it. There we go. You can see the lip on the inside. And if this was just lying out, that's actually a cast shadow. So for now, with the line, we're not doing cast shadow just yet, so you wouldn't darken in that whole thing, but the line underneath that would be nice and thick. Just like, around the edge where you've got the dark, heavy, that's the, cast shadow there, but you want to, well, it's the side that's away from the light. You want to make that nice and heavy right at the bottom of it, underneath it, and that will imply that, cast shadow. Keep things with volume and weight. Let's look at this DVD. A little harder to see because it is lighter in the middle where the lip is, but it's still there, and you can see it's got this shadow, which I'm trying to get a sharper shadow, but like I said, this light is not what I thought it was going to be. And so this is one thing, the camera is doing this. From what I see, I can see the shadow on the lip. So that's, once again, drawing from life. That's why it's important. But you want to capture the sides. And that's one thing to things being in 3D. It has sides and it has a top and a bottom. And because two things can't exist in the same space at the same time, there is a minute amount, there's space between everything, even if something's resting on it. And this is why you have this thick line. Like, you can see it really clear with the ruler, where that's on the light side. So it's casting a shadow underneath the ruler. So yeah, you are seeing underneath the ruler. That's what's causing that nice thick, that nice darker line in comparison to, the CD, or the razor, or the card, because these are all on the side away from the light. Actually, the card, you can kind of see on the side, that's underneath the card, but the card's not completely flat. That ruler is. So, the ruler is a really great example of what I'm talking about, how, two objects, just like the piece of metal that was wrapping around that pole, the two objects have to be separate even though they're together. When things all look like they're one clump, your work looks amateurish and ugly. And it shows that you are thinking only of surfaces. You're not thinking of how things are put together, and you're not doing it because you don't know anything, because you don't go out and draw. So this is what, draw things like this. And drawing things like this are actually going to lead you into drawing things like this, where barely see it, where you can do this with all line, no shading whatsoever. Well, maybe not the light catching on. Well, yeah, the light catching on it too, because each one of these little crevices in these designs is casting shadow on the piece behind it. So you're actually getting that side of the card that is no different from doing this. It's just this is going to take a lot more time and a lot more observation. So, and here we have a cuter example. This too, this is the, but these are thicker, much thicker, where you've got this lip going around, and you can see where, the oval, the ribbon is obvious, but you can see where this oval thing stops and where these little things start coming out of it. And you can see, even though ignoring this cast shadow down here, you can see right here, let's see if I can get rid of this cast shadow. There we go. Oh, that's a lot better. You can see where the shadow is casting directly underneath it. That's what's giving us this thicker, heavier line. So, and by the way, in that very first video, I think I explained the difference between shape, which you obviously understand now. You've got your shape, like the top of the card, your 3D form, which is the top and the sides, and considering the bottom of the card. Now here you see an example of form. Form is just like the 3D shape, except now you're adding tone to describe how it's carved in space. So it's just the lights and darks, and so you can, something like this you could just do with the side of your pencil to get that nice tone in there without actually shading. Tone does not mean you're shading. Shading is more complex, and we actually are going to start working with tone with the rigid bodies. And then after that, we're going to move into construction, which we're going to start with a basic 3D shape, and we're going to cut away pieces to build something. And we're going to start taking multiple shapes and putting them together to build something. That is the key to drawing whatever the hell you want to draw. To be able to do that, practice all the time. Sketch things from life in that manner, where you can cut away or you can build up, and there's nothing anybody can tell you that you can't draw. We got my controller, and well, the light, like I said, is crap, but you can see the dark, the thick line going around the buttons, because that's where there's space, because the button needs to move, so there's space between. Things like this. In fact, I highly recommend, drawing your game controllers as practice in just line. So, and now to get all those exciting things out of the way and show you the boring things, you will be meticulously drawing until you bleed. When you start at the beginning of the week, and like I said, arrange your own stuff and look at it from kind of a little bit above but to the side, and put a light source off to the side but close, like kind of hovering over it but a little tiny bit to the side. That's going to give you that that little tiny hair of a drop shadow. So yeah, but if I move the light, you see the further I move the light, how the shadow reaches out and it gets lighter. So you don't want that. You want it to be nice and graphic, and graphic means the dark and the light describe just black and white, and that describes your everything that's going on. So fun stuff next.